Yeah. You wanna know my opinion about the ceasefire? No? Anyway, I'm gonna tell it to you. You see, the ceasefire? That's bullshit. It's obvious, you know. First of all, think about the Iranians. They're everything, just not the stupid people, you know. So let's sum it up. You know, there was 12 days war before, right? There was 40 days deadline. Then Trump gave 40 days deadline. Then they break their own conditions. They bomb the shit out of them. Iranians were like, oh my god, did he fuck us for first time? Trump in the ass. Then start the second war again, right? They bomb the shit out of them. They kill fucking Khomeini. They promise them this. They cancel any, they didn't follow any kind of, promises. They betray them. They fuck them second times, 3 times. And now you think that the Iranians come to Islamabad and they come and they like, hey, I'm here, Mr. Trump. Now we trust you for 5 times, you don't fuck us in the ass. And let's talk about ceasefire. Of course. Because otherwise, we know you bomb the shit out of us. Iranians get a great, strong position. They know they cannot be invaded without the ground operation and boots on the ground. Because every idiot who doesn't understand some basic of geography know that you either gotta attack from the bottom, from, beneath, from seas, from the south. That's difficult, right? Or the Igbil is the closest American base on the Iraqi-Iranian border. You're gonna take a fucking Chuck Norris there, Delta Force like in fucking Caracas? Not because Chuck Norris is dead. No, they could find somebody else who is still, maybe Steven Seagal, right? Or maybe Stallone is still alive, or Schwarzenegger would do that shit. But it would last them 3.5 hours in the fucking helicopter. They cannot travel to Tehran just like they did in Caracas, right? Then Iran is multi-layered system. It's like a Third Reich, right? There's a National Guards. There is a classic police. There's military police. There's different kind of army. There are Muhammadans. There's a president. There's a multi-layered. They prepared. Obviously, every idiot know this. You see, every know it. And they knew that without the ground operation, Americans can do nothing. They can seriously cripple them. They can bomb they can create outages. They can bomb the, power plants. They can keep destroying them. But think it over. Iranians fighting for life. They have nothing to lose. They will fight until the end. Only what they do, like a desert fox, is a country which invented diplomacy. They are everything, just not stupid, you see. I mean, they will tactically regroup. They will wait. They gain time 2-3 weeks, and they cooking something there. You know what I say? And I don't think so. It's a fucking shish kebab, which is my favorite Iranian food. I think they cooking something more stronger, I think it will be fucking nuclear fucking tactical. Maybe they building the nuclear bomb. They can have it in 7 days. There is the material still. Maybe they preparing some covert operation, terrorist attack, whatever. I'm sure they coming with something. They gaining time, right? And then in Islamabad, here comes the JD Vance. He said, we bomb the shit out of you. Here comes the fucking Donald Trump with Adderall. Hey, we bomb the shit out of you. Adderall doesn't work. Give him fucking fentanyl, huh? We bomb a bitch out of you. I think it's over. You would shake Americans with American traitor pig who stab you in the back, who bomb the shit out of you, break any kind of ceasefire, betray you, break all Genevian conventions, throw bombs on the woman, on the girls' schools, there, and then, pretending, fighting for democracy and killing. No, that's bullshit, you see. On the other hand, we have to be fair to say, in my opinion, Iranians wanted to create the nuclear weapons. I think they did, you see. I'm not on the side of Iranians, but in same time, Iranians knew that the Europe don't want to get involved, so they alone with it, you see. The Middle East countries, they want peace. Qatar, the UA, they don't want Saudi Arabia, they don't want to have problems, they want trade, they want to open Hormuz, you know what I'm saying? So what Americans does? They got a fucking Israeli pigs, you see. I mean, excuse me, I don't wanna, insult the kikes. Excuse me, the Jew people, but you got a Hajiks, just to I have to level it up, You have I'm not a racist. I hate all people equally. All religions, colors, political, social status, all of them I hate equally. I'm misanthrope, you see. Yeah. So, you know, I think now we have so many conditions. Even before a war, there were so many conditions. Now you have so many now. They have even more conditions, you see. So we will see some fucking theater in fucking Islamabad, yeah, where you can clean your fucking ass with the palm and fucking, with the fucking camels there, right on, and then they eat some, they drink, they breathe some fucking smoke and shit. They stay in that fucking whatever fucking shit all Pakistani yeah, and then they pick up all that shit and all these peace talks finish with fucking bullshit. And then in May, there is elections in Israel. So of course Israel gotta attack Lebanon in order, to, you know, Netanyahu wins the elections, create a campaign, we have to protect you, all that fucking political shit. Most importantly, what's gonna happen with the markets? I think, of course, there are two options, right? No shit shall look up or down. But I think that this time the silver can actually go up with the gold. Because compared to previous, because if the war will be resumed and the peace talk won't be, successful, I give it 10% they will be successful, the peace talks. So if they won't be successful, I think this time people, because the market is socio-economical, it's just a sentiment. This time people, even though the hormones won't be, it won't be, reestablished, or it won't be repaired or deblocked, unblocked so fast. It will take weeks and weeks, even though they will come out to some solution. You see, it will take time, to remove the mines, all that crap, blah blah blah, resume so the oil will still fluctuate. If the ceasefire won't be pushed through, the oil go back to 100. But let's say next 2 weeks it can be around 90, 85, weeks 42, 43, 45, 40, something like that, and the silver, because the mining and everything, and then they want to buy the gold back. So in my opinion, normal people, or even massively people, and again the bankers, will start to buy the gold back, and they will flee this time to the safe havens. And the silver will be as well additionally triggered by inflation. So this time I think the silver will go up, and the metals will start to behave just like they supposed to, like a safe havens, you see. The military stocks will decline, obviously, for some time, but there is a volatility, and there is a insecurity, and the markets don't like insecurity. They don't like what directions. You can be in some panic and something falling down the stocks and you short it, or it can be booming, great war, sunshine times, everything going up. But the worst is uncertainty. So when market doesn't like uncertainty, so you see, we don't know what direction we're going, right? So there is some consolidation, right? Yeah, so we are 76, $70 silver breaking point. It's laking this line, this uh this numbers, or this zone of 76, 77, 78. If it breaks through, it goes 80, 85, 90, 100 is possible. Yeah, but for one next 2 weeks I would bet on some kind of consolidation between 72, 73, 74, 75, 76 in this zone, Gold slightly can go up a little bit, and but I don't think so. There will be some change. Same the UVXI, and there will be very uncalm 2 weeks, and the oil will hold around 90, 85, 70. So there will be some micro transaction to be done next 2 weeks, and we will see. Of course, what rules the world is a psychology. So Donald Trump losing, if we consider the psychiatry doesn't know the world insane, he's not insane. He has a malignant narcissistic diagnosis, antisocial personality, but mostly he's a malignant narcissist, and he's not a clean psychopath or sociopath. Putin is smart sociopath. Trump has a narcissistic diagnosis. He's not a psychopath. So he wanna be loved, he's a little 2 years old bitch abandoned by his mother who was sick when he was a kid, institutionalized idiot who believe his own lies and self-coping mechanism, telling him that he gotta prove the world he's best and he's very strong and great, but he's a little boy crying, scared, you see, but he's mirroring it, obviously. And so this guy already is like some kind of a bullet, which is so wild, or he's unhinged. He's wild. He's not normal. He cannot control his feelings. We know this, but I would say that I think it's already leaking into the public and stream media that there is a new level of the you know mental incapacity of Trump, and he's passing some certain serious um, you know levels or points or marks of somebody who is like mentally capable of some elementary common sense judgment. So he's getting demented, or I don't know, excuse my French. I'm not a diplomat. So he's becoming seriously cognitively incapable, and he's losing control. So I don't mean de facto that he's losing control of himself, because he never had a control of himself. He always was in this vicious cycle of narcissistic. When you think it over, the people with narcissistic personality tremendously suffer, because they have to please everybody. They have to be loved. If people don't love them, they angry with them. They have to make them, either by manipulation, force, corruption, or threats, to make them, I'll bomb shit out of you until you like me, or I will give you money, or I like you if you like. First, he tried in good way. If they don't like it, he tries force, power. So he got a tiger brain of 4 years, 7 years old boy, frozen one. There is the amygdala is damaged. So, as a prepubescent, primitive brain, and little brat, spoiled, who is very shy, crying little boy. When you look at his face, he looks like a 2 years old toddler. He looks like crying. He's crying baby. He's crying for help. You see, but there is this tremendous deception, which is almost delusional, and some narcissistic personality, disorder people, they can suffer even psychosis. So he can be psychotic, you see. So we could see it when they tell him, you said the Zelensky is dictator. Did I say this? No, I didn't say this. So he's not denying, he's not saying, he's not realizing in his brain, I knew I said that Zelensky is dictator. I knew there was no rain during the inauguration. He's lying all the time, right? This is the symptom of the evil of evilish people. There are two basic symptoms: being greedy and lie. lying, and being greedy. Donald Trump is extremely greedy person who would sell his mother, right? He's a Donald Duck, and he lies all the time. You see, so the evil, got a mechanism. The mechanism of the evil is power and the money, and the symptom of the people who use this mechanism, money and the evil, their symptoms are they very greedy and they very angry, and they lie all the time. They don't like to say truth, so they hate truth, they liars, they black liars. But in moment when Trump is confronted with his own lies, it's not like he's some kind of a stubborn little child liar who knows that he did say, I knew I said Zelensky's dictator. It's going in his brain when the journalists confront him, and I said, did I say this? I don't say this. I don't remember. I'm lying. You really believe it? I would say that it must be something like there are two pictures in his brain, It's like he see this 2 years old baby which he hate himself. Donald Trump hate himself. He's so angry with himself. There is incredible resentment towards. He feel physically sick of himself every morning when he look at the mirror. He hated himself for being a little vulnerable bitch. When his mother got sick, he was abandoned, and his abusive psychopathic father was abusing him, so he shut down. He's a victim. He's a little baby. He's a patient. On microeconomic level, he could destroy his family. His wife can hang herself. He can destroy the family on microeconomic level. But you put this personality on macroeconomic level. You give them nuclear weapons, toys, army, and they destroy the world. So all these people got a similar diagnosis, or this similar psychological profile, wherever it's Khamenei or Putin or Hitler or Stalin, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot, Kim Jong, whatever. I would say Trump differ from Hitler, Stalin by this that he's more narcissistic. Hitler, Stalin, Kim Jong Un, Kim Il Sung, Mao Zedong, they were really sociopathic personalities, and they were as well narcissistic, or Saddam Hussein, but Gaddafi, but they were not crying little bitches like Trump, and they were not cowards. Donald Trump is a coward. He is coward, you see. That's why, even though he doesn't feel fear, yeah, because we don't know what kind of medication he's under, Obviously, he's taking Adderall for 40 years, so he's mentally vegetable, you know. It's a cocaine for cheap. It's called cocaine for poor people, Adderall or Concerta or Ritalin. So he's abusing this pill for 40, 50 years. So you can see his brain gotta be, he's mentally vegetable, obviously. But in addition, last couple of days, he's losing. He never had a contract over his life. But now, if you understand me, he's starting to losing contact about the immediate action and about these basic elementary judgments and tasks, and he start to be cognitively incapable, and he's not able to function properly, you see. So I don't think so Donald Trump will die soon, because we know, by medical science, that usually you take an age of your father and mother, and you put yourself between, and that's how you most probably find your age. So we know that I think Donald mother and father, they both live until late 80s, or I think the father 90, mother 89, or both 90 years or something like that, or 85. So I think that in spite of the fact of that Trump is abusing this kind of methamphetamine drugs, and the stress and the bad, lifestyle, it's, after all, it's not about some coaches meditating or eating vegetable. It's for idiots who like to consume this crap. But every doctor or every person who is not a charlatan and who understands the science and the medicine, 90% are genes. So his genes, you know, regarding the physical endurance, appears to be pretty good quality. He's able, I think, live until 85, 87, 90. So this guy, I don't think so. Certainly he will not die during this. By Could I be wrong, but I would give it 2-3% chance that he dies by natural cause before he finished this period, this election, this administrative uh, round, or this remaining years in the as a president of USA. So, and then he can live 5, 7, 10 more years. There's no problem. I don't see, but he can start to have serious cognitive problems. He can lose his short memory, and he can become something like Joe Biden. So, but we knew, even though Biden, I don't know who was. Again, I'm not on any side. You see, I'm not an idiot, or I'm not left or right. You have two camps which are very similar. You have liberals and conservatives. You see, every liberal, is Zig Heiling. Every Greta Thunberg, Free Palestine, is authoritarian personality, and he hates subconsciously the racists. Just like Jeremy, the biggest racist in the world is not Donald Trump. It's Barack Obama and Jeremy Corbyn. You see, they racists, the liberal people, but they hate the little racists in themselves. And the Republicans, they wanna kiss a man, smoke marijuana, right? Do LSD, right? Yeah, there is a lot in homosexuality. So they hate subconsciously. They shadow personalities, but they are both cowards and stupid, and they don't understand their own psyche, and they covered and they make excuses, so they pointing finger at each other, but they hate themselves. But I am a Republican, and I look at this guy and say, you fucking democratical cunt, because down there I am Democrat. I hate Democrats. I hate you. I will not hate myself. You see? So Donald Trump will not look at himself and say, hey, I hate myself. I'm a piece of shit. Greta Thunberg and other deviants, I think Greta Thunberg I don't think so, is even a human being. She's some kind of Mickey Mouse. It's a brand, it's a business, her family use her. It's a victim, it's a sick person. It's a sick sick child, abused and used for this political campaign, right? Just like Malala, got a shot in the head, you see. And since that, then they put her, but Malala, she got a bullet in the head, but I think she was still pretty intelligent, and I would say she was okay puppet, but Greta Thunberg is out of control puppet. She's These individuals are patients, and we have to have a compassion with them. You have to look at them like a sick people, which they are, and they deserve compassion, you see. But they can create a lot of problems, right? On both sides, right? I mean, elections for who won elections in 2016? Who made Donald Trump president? Obama. Without Obama previous administrative, Trump would never ever rise to the power. You see. So it's a perpetuum mobile. It's a vicious cycle. Robespierre finished on the head raiser. They take his head. There was system mistake with Fukuyama. There was the other idiot who realized 300 years that democracy has a system mistake. So we live in a very idiotic system called democracy, which is beautiful, but it's very fragile. And we take a oil, and the fire. We take democracy and capitalism and we mix it together and it blow up. It's a very smart idea to take capitalism and democracy. So you can do fucking socialism. Then don't you forget most of the Western Europe are idiots. There are studies which saying that then no average Norwegian man for last year lost 10 points of IQ. So the stupidest are the Nordic nations, obviously, right? Swedish, they are the one of the stupidest people. Icelanders, from Iceland, Norway, yeah, they're very stupid people. Finn people are intelligent. I observe they're different. Danish, they're very stupid people. Belgium, they're one of the stupidest people ever. Oh, Dutch people, they were quite bright. I would say Dutch. That's the entrance into the Germans, extremely stupid people. But what a great intelligent people they get. Germans, Schiller, Schopenhauer, Jesus Christ, Beethoven. It's elites. But this decaying is Augustus Romulus. It's the last emperor, you see, of Rome. So history repeats itself. Instead of Hitler, you got a Ursula von der Leyen or Mama Merkel. They just switch, just like in Spain. They were Franco-fascists. Now they liberals, free Palestine. Sieg Heil, free Palestine. Sieg Heil, Marx. Sieg Heil, Comrade. Sieg Heil. They don't know you left or right. It doesn't matter. You go so much left, you right. The social nationalism in 1930s, the Hitler programs was 75% overlapping with the Stalin communistic and Lenin fucking revolution. So there's a national socialism and national socialism. And then a lot of Western Europeans are idiots who believe that they don't want communism, they want socialism. They so stupid they even don't know what is difference between socialism and the communism. That the line is so thin, you see, that you have no idea. But how you could explain them? Again, you have to look at them like a patient, because they born in democratic country, lavish. You see, they give them everything into their mouth with, yeah, and they were idiots. They open up the borders. They culturally decaying, and as Engels says, the all nations will blend into the one. They got degenerated. You see, he was Engels, but he didn't mean it genetically, but he says the same thing what a Nazi said. He confirmed by blind study the vice versa, reverse argument, and Engels says that's his quote: the all nations will blend together into the one. You see, we don't know if he meant like it's good. I guess it was imperialism, like communistic one, internationalism. Sorry, but after all, it was imperialism anyway, right? So like just communist era. So you know, after all, the degeneration obviously started in Europe. You see, so the mixing of the races, yeah. I think the fall of the America behind this there is nothing else than the bad genes. The first example is Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump's grandfather was German, the mother was, I think, Scottish, yeah, and the father was Irish. So you have already three European nations, and I think the father was already, or he was American Irish. So you see that he got degenerated between three white nations. You see, so the American white race is not a European white race. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm not saying it because I'm European white race. I mix myself. You see, I'm from one of the most mixed country ever. You know, but I'm telling you, I'm sorry to tell you. But if you're American, you really mixed race, and I'm talking about white immigrants from Italy. Italo Americans. They're not real Italians. They spawn. They're not real Italians. The Americans who born there, you see, the Italian Americans. I'm sorry to tell you, they're not. You see, and then without being rude, again, I hate all people and races equally. You have Latino people, African, Lyndon Johnson, unplug it, and this president allowed the third countries to totally flood it and finish the degeneration, right? Which already started there, but for some reason it lasted. We have to ask, we have to, speculate whether the white degeneration of the US in 19th, 18th century was because it was just the white race mostly, or most probably because they built the USA on they step on the backs of the black people. They slaved, they slaved red, yeah. They beat, they exploited the yellow, the Chinese on the railways, right? They degenerated, destroyed by diseases and alcohol, you know, Indians, and they slave black. So they hold the power, and they were able to build America with the slaves. But I'll be fair, I think still the you know I don't say it's wrong or right, but the system of the white, the white race is 4 or 5% of people on the planet, in case, like everybody blaming white people for everything. You can blame them for a lot of things, you know but if you got liberated in Africa, a lot of countries, 50, 70 years there, they have no dictators. It's very hard to blame them, you see. It's your problem. It's a problem of the black people. I'm sorry to tell you that, but 95% of African people are parasites, you see. They have no industry, they have nothing, they don't work. I don't say because of this they bad people. I don't say this. I don't say they low quality people. I just say they somehow don't work. They genetically made up not to work. They made up, and we can look at it from the cultural, uh, reverse, like a good thing. They don't want money. They want to stay with their families. They want to stay at home. They intelligent people. They know the life is not about work. But from the viewpoint of the capitalism or building some things, they are unfortunately parasites, and the African system is to beg money from Europe, US. That's what they do. You see, that's their system. Yeah, and they, of course, they vulnerable because they let some white people before go there to slave them and exploit tremendous amounts of. There's no question about this. um, of natural resources. And the British were the one, not Nazi, British invented concentration camps in 19th century in Africa, right? So the Europe and USA tremendously destroyed Africa, and we have to blame them for a lot of bad things happened there. But I'd say it was already some time, so you can do something about this. So it would be same like to say in Czech Republic, like they always blame somebody there. They have. I don't live there 20 years, but it's been it's been 36, 7 years from revolution, Velvet Revolution. You could do anything, whatever you want with your country. It's a whole generation. you know. So far, South Rhodesia, or one of the last countries which got rid of the apartheid, or South Africa, was in the 80s, right? Some countries like Botswana, get rid of the dictators in 60s. So you got a 40, 50 years to do something over there. Nobody in Coast d'Ivoire put this psychopath there who is 90 years old, longest dictator. That's what they got over there. That's their business. You'll see. For years and years, except of course intervention of USA, Congo, whatever. Of course, they have problem climatically, right? But you could do something about this. And you cannot deny that the Europe or US, the whole world, sending a lot of money and food to Africa and helping. You cannot deny this. You see. Only what you can say is So, hey, you know what? Let's take the Europe, US, and let's totally fuck it up. And let's all blend it together so we are all third world, which is happening. It really doesn't matter what you or me we want. The world doesn't give a shit. Unless you, some delusional, narcissistic little bitch who is crying why the world is not I wanted to have it. It really doesn't work. If you use like an animal emotions, you know, and if you use the gray cells in a human being using the ratio, you find out there is no point to be angry or, sad or, you know, somehow waste your emotions because you cannot control these things like an individual. You can comment on it, right? And if you have a brain of the Homo sapiens, not Homo sapiens sapiens, but Homo sapiens or Homo erectus or habilis, you react by anger, you react by emotions. You're an animal. You don't use the arguments. So you see the lowest IQ all around the world in all races, continents are extremists. Hitler, Trump, Stalin, they were the dumbest idiots ever. Stalin was a butcher. He was idiot, 95 IQ. You see, Putin is exceptional. Putin is highly intelligent man, right? But most of these dictators were not very smart. You see, like Trump, Hitler, you know, Hitler was not a hardworking person. Hitler wake up afternoon. He was using a lot of drugs. But he was not a stupid person. Absolutely not. He has some kind of a sick fuck predator energy and extreme intelligence, and the propaganda wanna make him look like stupid. He was not stupid, but I would say, for example, Stalin or Donald Trump were pretty low IQ individuals. So, and when you look at all these extremists, wherever you go, right? I mean, you take the political activists, right? Not very intelligent people, right? Greta Thunberg, I don't know who is from the right there. I mean, look at all these Trumpists. They low IQ individuals. So communists and fascists are idiots, obviously, and they use emotions. They don't use ratio. They animals. You see. So that's what it is basically. So I would conclude it with this: that we were always animals, but now we're coming back to be animals again. So which actually nothing changed. So we just, weaponized, technologized, and sophisticated the the killing with better weapons and hypocrisy. Before in the Middle Age, you just kill somebody and you were a motherfucker or gangster. Now you bomb shit. Now you save somebody from nuclear threat. The world in Iran throwing the bombs on the schools of children. Now you don't kill people, now you protect the world by bombing the other people and schools. So we actually become more hypocritical animals, but we are more vicious and cruel than we ever been in the history. And the civilization is going backwards. There's no question about it. As well, most certainly on the cultural or social level. Yeah. Well, if you know about this, what you can do basically, you can squeeze some money out of it because you don't change the world. It's impossible. But you can secure your future. You need $1 million. You need second passport because the Europe will be flooded. There will be outrages, civil war. Forget about this. It's a third world country. You need some tax paradise. Panamanian passport is pretty good. You see. I don't say to go there to live there. You need something which will have a value. Real estate. Yeah. And in short term, you can make money on the stock market, and couple of kilo of, you know, right on, couple of kilo of the gold in Zurich won't hurt you as well. So you accumulate the assets with the artificial intelligence in 2 years, you know, your social economical status get frozen and you become who you are forever. Yeah. And you stay here, smoking crack, 15 people meshed in one apartment, connected to Instagram or through free glasses, whatever, fighting over water, clean water, and resources, and living somewhere like in Bangladesh. That's, you know, that's one option. Second option is that you create you play ABCD Sun Tzu plan, and you start to accumulate the assets, which you don't base your life on some salary which is useless and a euro is evaporating and melting green and blue paper. You know, from 1970s, the $100 is worth of $20. Same euro, any kind of currencies, even Swiss franc, yen. You can clean your ass with yen. Japan is third world country now. The bonds are really, so you try to buy real estate. You go to the banks. If they allow you to borrow your money, I would do it right away. I would not worry about paying it back because they won't be banks in 2 3 years. They won't be Europe, right? I would not worry about this. So there will be a run on the bank, looting. So I would take any kind of money, and buy apartments and rent it. Or I would take equity mortgages, credit cards, and I would push it into stock market immediately. And I would start to trade it. And you can start from $5 to $2,000. You can keep rolling silver, gold, stocks. You can do these simple transactions, you see, and you can create passive income. So you either go to the water like a chimp with the pails of water, or you just divert the little, you like a fucking beaver, fucking Justin Bieber, whatever. You divert the direction of the water, the corridor to you, to floating, and you create some passive income, right on? So, which means, of course, if you're trading actively, you have to like work, but you can be so-called slow trader, like you buy options or you buy some stocks, and you manage your portfolio every couple of days. You're changing it. You see, there are very safe ways how to do this. It's not difficult, trust me. 50 or 45% of millionaires comes from the real estate. The second half comes from the stock market. The real estate and stock market is connected. It's a two cups which are connected. When the stock market getting empty, 2027, the real estate going up and people putting money into bricks. They withdrawing and buying properties. Just like Lehman Brothers 2000 big crisis, the stock market went down, real estate crashed, they bought it. Yeah. Now the real estate is going to fall down like a domino in USA. It's time to grab a fucking trolley and air ticket and go for some nice shopping in fucking USA. Buy some hat like fucking Mar-a-Lago for a couple of $100 in fucking auctions, because the US market real estate will go down like a domino, because this Gen Z whatever, green whatever, LGBTQ ST 70 whatever, female fucking whatever generation is not able to have a sexual intercourse, so they are social. They again, poor kids. You have to feel sorry for them. They born online, stick to the Instagram, brainwash, desensitized. There are so many personality disorders, narcissistic. They become autists, and they heritage incredible debt. So you study university, you finish it, and by 50 you pay it back. So they executed young people born in 90s, 95, 2000. They wipe them out mentally, physically, psychologically. They destroy them, right? That's how they behaved, how they behave. They degenerated. It's terrible, without being rude or arrogant. So these people are maladaptive, so they're not able like boomers uh, get married in their 20s and pay mortgage for 40 years back. They never get married, the relationship doesn't work, they don't have sexual intercourse, they don't leave apartments, they on antidepressants, Xanax, Ritalin, fentanyl, crack, whatever you want to call it, like if it's medicine, drug medicine, yeah. And they're not able to have a basic relationship. They isolated, suicide, they're more suicide than homicides. But I think it's changing now, it's like 50-50. I'm a cynicism does not be cynical. So we can see that the real estate market will fall down, and then $37 trillion is center. $37 trillion, 400 Americans including toddlers, $110,000 or 100,000 per head, including babies, debt, 21% credit cards. It's over. And this young generation of Zen, or whatever you call it, 90s, born in 90s, 2000, who doesn't work, not able to work. I don't blame them, they don't work. They have this green anxiety or whatever anxiety. So that's why the system is collapsing. Yeah. So the real estate market will crash. There's no question about this. Same in Europe, but in Europe it will be different. I think down here in Andalusia is the only place where people will migrate when everything blow up in the Europe. But then obviously in Germany, Austria, Belgium, France, you know, it will be like mix up thing, yeah, and the rents will really go up, and it will be depends on the economy, but and there will be a lot of opportunities, just like with Brexit, with real estate, for example, in Great Britain. But I think the biggest opportunity would be to go to USA, where you can buy, for example, some house for 20% of the price before. And for this, before you make money on the stock market, and you can scale up little by little. You see, for 100,000, hey, after crash, you can comfortably go to West Palm Beach or to Florida, and you can buy some condo after the crash in Delray Beach for 100,000 and $90,000. That's totally doable. 70, 80, $90,000 is doable if you have two, three, $5,000. It's absolutely doable within a couple of months, or 1, 2 years to scale it up to 100 gram to go, and then you got cheap property, or you can buy it in other European countries where the crash will happen. For example, in Italy, it will happen. There's no question about this. Austria, Czech Republic, the prices of the apartments, it's incredible. I think in the rest of the Spain it will as well crash. And here in Andalusia there is this sun, and it will slow down and might be negative or whatever, but I see it like the safest place. So, you know, even though you're not able to save up 70, 80, 90 gram, 100, 150 for the properties which get cheaper in US or in wherever you want, as well, you can buy houses or apartments. You buy a garage. I would buy a garage. I would buy anything. I would buy some ruin. I would buy the little house in countryside. I would buy anything, you see. Because yeah. And still you can take this 70, 80 gram, and then when the market crash online, before you withdraw it, You either buy real estate or you wait, you put in the gold, which will double because the currencies will go up, down. So let's say for last couple of months or 1 year, you scale up from 25k, 50, 70k, you put it in gold, then you double it next year. So from 70, you make it to 140, 50, then you get it out of the gold, and then you put it again in online market in the dip, and it will lift you up. And then comfortably, you can within 5 years, you can really make $500,000. It's absolutely doable. I would say it's it's very easy to do it. I would say that within couple of months, if you know how to do it, you can make 50, $100 million. This couple of 10,000, you see, because if you know the information, you know what's gonna happen. Think about, for example, I told you about the incapability cognitive of Donald Trump. This guy, imagine something happened and he's not able to be president anymore, or there will be some outrageous situation like that we find out that he really is really losing control, right? Then you this information, if you buy UVXI, if you know when these things happen, and it's not so difficult to know people who know people, or to be ready to clock it up, and put it in the system in trading. And this information can, with fall of the market, can make you a lot of money. Because if the market goes down and you short it, you bet on it is going down, the fall can make you a lot of money. Crisis is not a bad thing, just the opposite. It's an enormous opportunity. You see, it's zero-sum game. One idiot coming, there is an idiot and he has two stones, and you are like, oh, I have no money, I'm fucked up, I have a really, really small little stone, I'm really fucked up. And there is person who got a lot of money, there is 99%, and then the market fall down and they lose it, and you there, and you catch it, and you short it, you bet on it with your small one. And while they losing 99% of their assets and portfolio and money, your 1% becoming their 99%. What goes up must come down. It's zero-sum game, you see. If something falling down, in same time, something going up. So if you contrarian, and if you watch the market and everybody's selling, then when you buy. When everybody buying, you sell, that's all. You see? So when you see idiots, selling gold, oil, this, that, they're all going, they're jumping out of it, right? So there is a FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing opportunity. That's the most stupid thing you can do when you see that the market's reacting and you just copy, you wait, and you just do the opposite what the idiots and herds do. Or you buy the oil if you have information, and you do the things before, when you know it before the crowd. And again, it means you one person and just few people doing it. Yeah. So only what you gotta do is just watch the market and see, it's not difficult to watch it. You just watch TV every day for 5 minutes, and one day you turn on TV and they say, oh my god, the market fall down 30, 40, 50%. Well, in this time you load your money, you put it there and you wait it lift up. Or you buy gold and that's it, you see. That's all what you gotta do, right? And meanwhile, you can, for example, I wanna talk about another video about very simple trades which you can do over a weekend, which is a gap trade. Like you buy something on Friday and you wait it gap up on Monday. So there are some very elementary, simple trades, you see, which you can really do, and it's not so difficult. You see, the worst thing you can do is to believe or rely on your diminishing salary, for which you can buy nothing else than the price, the food and the goods and things and services which getting more and more expensive. If you're relying on your health, if you're relying on your salary, and besides that you have to really do something very stupid and monotonous, and this is called a work. It's called slavery. You see, the slavery was just extended to from different colors to, and cosmetically was changed to work. Slavery is nothing else than work. We were not programmed to work. We were lying in savannas and prairies. You hunt a mammoth and you sit 3 weeks there eating that meat and do shit, and then you hunt and 3 weeks you did nothing. The work was invented by in middle age and slavery later on, right? So before, so that's basically it is, right? So good luck and good night. Yeah, I guess I insult races, religions, and shits, but it is what it is. In this program, I cannot lie to you. I have to tell you only the truth. I don't know if it's true what I'm telling you, but I believe it's true. I'm willing to respectfully, communicate and disagree and say, for example, that I'm wrong. If you prove me by ratio, by arguments and no emotions, I'm wrong. I like to admit it. But I believe I'm saying true. But I'm not sure if it's really true. But if you understand me in good faith, I'm telling you the truth. I cannot lie to you. That's the only thing I can't do. And it makes me a little problem in the life. But you have to tell the truth. No matter how unpopular it is, in what camp you are, world is not black and white. It's blended, you see. And that's why they want you to be simplified. They want you to choose, you see. They want you divide. They want you this, that. They don't want you think, talk, pause up, and have 1 hour dialogue or conversation. They want you to click. 1 second, Republican, Democrat, Communist. That's what they want you to be. Fucking animals. And after all, it's up to you if you become one.